When we lose our loved ones, we feel broken and lonely. Nothing can ever replace their absence in our lives. But what about dogs? How do they react when in a similar situation? In today's video, you will see the extent dogs go after losing their friends. First is the story of one dog, Crosby. His owner thought that he was still depressed, but got the shock of his life. Watch till the end to see what the dog was hiding. Crosby was 8 weeks old when immature user Squishy Peaches got him. When the pooch came to the house, he found another dog in the neighborhood and they became close friends. Not long after, Crosby met a feline. Although dogs and cats are thought to be sworn enemies, these two broke stereotypes and became best friends. But this friendship didn't last for long. Some months later, the cat passed away. After the cat's death, Crosby became dejected and lonely. It could have been worse if it wasn't for his dog friend. This dog helped the pup through his mourning stage. But just when Crosby was coming out of his shell, he suffered an even bigger loss. His dog friend also passed away. Losing two close friends within a short period would leave anyone frantic, and Crosby wasn't spared, and was now left all alone with his human friend. But Crosby continued with his life as if nothing had happened. This gave his owner the idea that Crosby was doing just fine. However, this was pretty far from the truth. The dog was breaking apart and was finding it hard to get over his dead friends. When we miss our loved ones, don't we look at all their pictures and try to create reflections of them in others? Well, we do, and this is just what Crosby was about to do. One day, the pup finally found an opportunity he had been craving for. He saw a stray animal outdoors, and he brought her into the house. That day, when his owner returned home, Crosby wasn't waiting for him at the door as usual. Instead, the pup led him to the bathroom where he was hiding his newly found friend. Upon getting to the bathroom, the man was shocked when he saw the animal in the box. When he had a closer look, he realized it was a cat that bore a striking resemblance to Crosby's late feline friend. It was as if Crosby had brought her in just to preserve memories of his late friend. Although it was a good move, the man was worried that the cat may belong to a neighbor. So he went around and showed the cat to them, but none of them knew anything about it. Afterward, he took the cat to his shelter, but there was no space to accommodate it. It now seemed like fate was at work. Since everything else failed, the man had to bring the cat home, and Crosby was more than glad. Just like he had done with his late feline, Crosby protected his new buddy too. He sleeps beside the kitten every night, and the two became best friends. Although this dog in this next story didn't find a look-alike friend, he also showed just how affectionate and loyal dogs can be even after their loved ones pass away. In May 2020, staff at Kingsville-Clayburgh Health Department Animal Control and Care got a call about a dead dog on a rural road in Clayburgh County. When they got to the scene, what they saw was enough to bring tears to anyone's eyes. Unlike they had expected, the dead dog wasn't alone. Another dog, who turned out to be her brother, was protecting her body and refused to leave her side. As the staff tried to move closer to claim the dead sister, the dog wouldn't let them come near her. They had a very hard time convincing the canine that they were only there to help. But after some time, the dog finally caved in to the rescuers. However, he only did so when he knew that they were trying to help. Afterward, the staff named the dog Guardian because of his loyal and protective acts. They kept him with them and planned to put him up for adoption if no one came forward as the owner. What an adorable dog! Which reminds me of this heartbroken dog in Filipova, Russia, who also did something similar. This dog guarded his dead lover's body for 7 days and wouldn't let anyone come near her. He even tried to warm her up with his own body, hoping she would come back to life. Sadly, that would never happen. The locals were moved by the dog's rare bond, and they named them Romeo and Juliet. It doesn't matter if it's a kitten, a pup, or even a human owner. A dog's loyalty and affection doesn't end when their loved ones pass away. In this next story, what this pup, Zozo, did after losing his owner will make you appreciate dogs even more. Zozo was only a week old when he lost his mother. Luckily, Ozturk found him and took him in. Ever since, he took it on himself to protect and guide the pup. The two developed an incredible attachment to each other. Unfortunately, in 2014, Ozturk fell ill. After battling the illness for a while, he passed away. Ozturk's death came as a heavy blow to Zozo, and he couldn't get over his friend. One day, Ozturk's family noticed that Zozo would often disappear only to return hours later. Each time he did, he left without a single trace. So where was he going? Was he hiding something? No one knew until one day. That day, Osterk's son went to his father's grave to drop some flowers. He was only a few steps away when he noticed a creature snuggling in the tomb. When he was at close range and could finally see who it was, the man's arms dropped. It was Zozo! The man finally understood that Zozo had been coming to the grave each time he disappeared from home. Although the pup received a lot of love at home, no one could take the place of his owner. What an unconditional love. It's also a good thing that Zozo knew where to find his dead owner, unlike the next dog in this next story. In 2019, one dog melted the hearts of millions after his story went viral. According to reports, the dog stayed on the road for 18 months waiting for his owner, Harris, who died in an accident. Locals claim that he was always alert and appeared to always look in the distance as if he was waiting for his owner to suddenly appear. Later, the locals nicknamed the white dog Greek Hachiko. This was a reference to a similar occurrence in the 1920s. During this period, a Japanese Akita Inu dog called Hachiko also waited for his owner at a station in Tokyo for over 9 months until its death. The white dog's compassion moved several families in the area. Others worried about the Greek Hachiko's health since he spent a lot of time outside, even when the weather was hot. They even tried adopting the pup, but all efforts proved futile. The dog would always run back to the accident scene. When the locals saw that the loyal animal wouldn't budge, they did something incredible. They built the dog a shelter and would often give him food and water. Despite this, something continued to baffle the townspeople. They weren't sure if the dog was with his owner when the accident happened. If not, how did he know to make his way to this exact spot? The answer remains a mystery, but one thing is certain: this dog is rare and has shown the depth of a dog's loyalty. In this next story, one dog, Jax, was also left heartbroken after something happened to his human friend. Jax was only 6 weeks old when Abraham got him from a neighbor. Within a few days, the two quickly formed a tight bond. Jax took a special liking to his human friend. He followed him around the house and they spent the night together. Sometimes they even slept together on the chair whenever Abraham was too tired to go in. Whenever Abraham returned late from work, he would always find Jax waiting for him at the door. The pup never went to bed without his buddy. Unfortunately, all this came to an end one day after Abraham suddenly lost his life in an accident. His death left the family in complete shock and sadness, but his family weren't the only ones affected. Jax also lost his enthusiasm and became a shadow of his former self. He walks around the house all day, and whenever he is tired, he would just sigh and sleep. If this hasn't gotten you in your feelings, what Jack did next will. After waking up one day, Jack walked straight up to Abraham's memorial. He laid in front of it, and he stared at it all day. The sweet pup misses his human friend. I hope he finds the strength to move on. In this next story, this dog went far and beyond to prove his unwavering loyalty and love. One dog surprised the staff at a hospital in Brazil after he waited 8 days outside the hospital for his dying 82-year-old owner. When the woman was rushed to the hospital, they left the dog at home. But since he had never stayed alone without his human, he did something shocking. He followed one of the woman's family members to the hospital. On getting to the hospital, the dog waited at the door for 8 days. He was always on the lookout, waiting for the woman to come through the door. Although there was no indication of the woman coming, the dog showed no sign like he was running out of patience. Unfortunately, the woman passed away after 4 days. However, the dog continued to wait for her. The dog's display of affection moved many people who also came to the hospital, and they wanted to adopt him. However, some days later, a local pet store took him. Hopefully, time will heal this broken dog's heart.